Hi, my name is Jared Rathman, and I interviewed a few people on how they use digital media in the workforce and just the similarities to a few different technologies as pertaining to when they were younger to now.
That was game simulation and programming, and what we did was used programs like 3ds Max to animate, design, model, and build games, video games. From programming to like character sketches, storyboards, all the everything that we do is graphic design and animation. Most video game jobs require a year's programming experience in a similar field, or just a year's programming experience in a field. Right now I'm making video games, but it's on the side with my friends. Not for it. Right now I am application specialist for Sunflower Bank's corporate offices. I do a little bit of programming, but mainly I just fix the applications for any of the kind of a lot of different things. I fix any of the check scanners for any of the banks, any of the branches, and I maintain the code, and I reset people's passwords, set up new accounts, stuff like that. It's a whole grab bag of stuff. Well, one of the big things that's happening in the video game industry is they're getting ready to switch to, instead of designing the games using triangles at their basic elements, they're going to be switching to atoms, which are crazy smaller, which will be just spheres that are all linked together. So that way they'll have like pretty much a limitless environment. Like there won't be, you know how when you go from zone to zone in games it takes a load time? Yeah. Well, the whole game will load at once because it won't matter. And then with the circles being so compressed together, they'll be able to just map real objects instead of video game designers spending so much time making objects. They'll just be able to take 3D pictures of it and scan it in, and then that'll be a lot better because then they'll be able to focus on character models, and really like any fantasy stuff will become much more detailed, and all characters are going to look a lot better within the next few years. It'll be pretty intense stuff.
Now I'm going for my MET, my mechanical engineering degree. I do AutoCAD on the computer-aided drafting. Back in the old days, people would take out, lay out a piece of paper and draw everything, but with using protractors and using, you know, all that, scales and all that. Now they have programs that do it all for them. All you do is you tell if you want to put a circle here, you put a circle here, put a line there, and you draw out whatever you need drawn. Instead of doing it by hand like in the old days, it's done more. And that's where I think technology has really improved. Yes. But also hand drawing a print is a lost art. Nobody does it anymore.
I am a student in the professional pilot degree here, and I'm also a flight instructor. We've got simulators that have where the pilots sit, and then we have screens that show out in front. So it's kind of like video games, but it's real life because they've got simulators that are full motion and stuff like that, and they've got screens to them. So yeah, that uses digital media. They've got pretty good graphics compared to what our old simulators were like, and compared to our, they can show you coming down on the runway as well as, you know, taking off, and there's clouds and you can see rain and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's pretty real life.
When I was a kid, a farmer might hire 3 or 4 or 5 people during the summer to help him throw bales. You know, the farm equipment they used was relatively small compared to now. They get these huge tractors, and one farmer can pick up bales because they use large bales, and it's all automated, and it's taking the labor out of it. So one farmer can farm a pretty good sized farm now.
Like the strip club business, for instance. You know, with today's pornography sites, you can get a live strip show on the internet, and you know, these businesses, you know, that have strip clubs, nobody wants to go there. Why? When you don't have to leave the house, you get the same entertainment. When I was a youngster, I had
all we had was one phone in our house, and it was on a party line, and there was probably about 3, 4, 5 families that used the same phone. So if you pick the phone up at the wrong time, somebody else might be using that.
Yeah.
So this is it's very personal. You can use it wherever you're at. You can use it when you're on the road. You can use it when you're at work. So, and it has a lot of other features too, like calendars and things like that. So I really like it. I use it a lot for work.
They don't teach cursive in a lot of schools now. You know, a lot of schools, you know, when we were growing up, we had to learn how to write normal and write in cursive. And the handwriting, if you look at some of the kids these days and how their handwriting is, it sucks. They don't really work too hard in penmanship. You learn more how to type a computer than you are.
You know, I've always had poor handwriting, and I know through college I had to write all my papers by hand, or else I got a typewriter someplace, and I used a typewriter part of the time, but I wasn't the best typist, so I made errors, and then you erase it. And, we didn't have computers when I was in college, so it would have been, I think college would have been so much easier if we would have had access to something like that.
Do you think phones could get more graphic games?
Actually, they're about to get really, really nice games, full 3D environment. Unreal Tournament 3 has a really good engine, and they're porting it over to Flash, which is going to make it be able to run on iPhones, iPads, Android, and it's going to be really lightweight. Like, it won't take up a lot of storage, but it will have amazing performance, and that's getting ready to come out within the next year.
Okay.
Yeah, I play games a lot. Though I do enjoy the games, I know how to limit myself. Some people, you know, instead of going out with your friends, going to the beach, you know, going to concerts, say going out back playing catch, throwing football, you know, they'd rather just live their life on this game, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you want to go golfing, people get the week off and go week off. Same with like Wii fishing, I mean, stuff like that, you know, and it's just taken over where people prefer to do the digital instead of the real thing, and I think that would hamper, especially in smaller children, you know, their habits for good healthiness. You know, why go outside when I can stay inside and do this?
Yeah.
And all these friends,
Well,
don't have to leave the house.
Well, I think my feeling is that people are going to be as active as they want to be, really. Like, it's the type of person that's lazy, not the activities that they do. I mean, because you can get a Kinect and you can do all that stuff, and they're going to have fight night for the Kinect, and that's going to be an intense workout. Like, a very intense workout. So I don't really feel it's the person that makes it late. I think it's the person that makes themselves lazy, not really just because there's video games out there.
I was never allowed to have video games when I was little. We were kids that were always playing outside, and I think that's coming to a stop, and you see all these problems with childhood obesity, and I think that really, you know, has a part of, you know, sitting in front of the TV all the time, and they're just focused on the TV or focused on playing those video games. And yeah, they do have some video games like the Wii that gets you up, and my parents actually have one of those, and I think for older people that's really good. Like my grandparents have one where they can't, you know, necessarily go out and walk and stuff, but it gives them some exercise. So it depends on how you're using video games and that type of stuff. So